As a kid, I was always like a non-athlete. I was the kid that got picked last for every sport, sat on the bench the whole time for whatever sport. So I didn't think that I was an athletic person. As I grew up, I entered the hairdressing industry and was doing that for work. That led to a really unhealthy, unfit lifestyle. I was really struggling with my health and my body image, and one day I decided I want to change this. So I decided to just join a gym, get fit, ended up hiring a personal trainer, which was great. She was incredible. And we used to do like boxing for fitness, just for fun, which I always loved, hitting pads. There's something about hitting pads, whether you're doing it technically or you don't even know what you're doing, your arms are flailing everywhere. Like it feels so good. It's so empowering. You feel powerful. You're getting like a mega workout, but enjoying yourself at the same time. So I always really enjoyed that. And I started to realize how much fitness did for my mental health, my emotional health, as well as like the physical changes I was seeing in my body. I think it's the first time in my life I ever felt like, wow, I'm really proud of myself for accomplishing something, from being able to never do like a push-up on my knees to be able to, what I can do now even is like a dream to me. Eventually I transitioned out of hairdressing into the fitness industry, and when I was working at a gym, there was this girl and she was just like kicking the bag that we had at the gym one day, and I was like, oh wow, like those kicks look amazing, like I want to do that too. Yeah, we started chatting and she said she was doing Muay Thai. I had never even heard of Muay Thai before. I was like, what even is that? And she said she was going to do this sparring day, and I was like, what? Like this is a sport? Like who would even know? So I was super naive about the whole thing. But I just decided, I'm going to find myself a Muay Thai gym, and in 1 year's time, I'm going to have a fight. I'm going to have my first amateur fight, and I did. I think I spent about 6 years in Muay Thai. It was a little bit on and off. I was dealing with some injuries and some certain things, but I had 6 fights. Then I was dealing with some severe health issues, so I actually had some time off. Thought I would never be able to fight again. So I just decided to try jiu-jitsu for fun. MMA is something by that time I was really inspired by. I loved watching the UFC. I always wanted to do it, but I just believed that I was too old. I had all these thoughts. I'm too old. It's going to take too long. I'll never be able to do it. So I'll just stick to Muay Thai. That's what I thought. This health issue that I was dealing with and the struggle to come back to Muay Thai, I thought I'm never going to compete again, so why not try jiu-jitsu? Fell in love with it. My coach at the time, who is now basically my husband, he was like, do you want to fight? And I was like, oh, really? Could I? Is this possible? I don't know anything. He's like, yep, we'll have you ready. And so, I literally went from knowing nothing to competing heavily within that year in the amateur MMA career, and then turning pro the next year. It was really fast. Yeah. It was like when I started Muay Thai, and I was like, in 1 year, this is my goal. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but it happened because I put the time in and the dedication in. So I just took that straight away into the MMA scene, and it just happened because of that. MMA, I think I was about maybe like 28 or maybe 29, around there, 28, 29, moving into MMA, starting MMA. Yeah, there was just the thing in my head that like, oh God, you've got to get it all done before you're 30. I think that's just a societal thing, like whether it's marriage and house and whatever measures we all think we need to be. But yeah, like I'm sitting here now, 34, like feeling the best I have ever felt in my life. Mentally, physically, emotionally, like everything's on point. So yeah, I did start late. I started late, considerably late compared to a lot of other people that I was around, and they'd been doing it since they were 12 or whatever, or 2, or it's always been in their life, and they've always been athletic people. And like I said before, I wasn't an athletic kid. I was that kid that got picked last. I was uncoordinated. I trip over my own feet, like in a physical sense, I was I was very weak. I had no strength, and it's something you can build. And that's something that I really love to share with people and am passionate about sharing with people, because literally anything's possible. And I feel like I am a living, breathing, walking example of that. No matter where you've come from, you can do this if you've got the dedication, the determination, to do it. On that as well, for a long time, I really struggled with a lot of self-doubt as well. And so that was a whole nother big piece of my journey, that I didn't believe I was this athlete. It took me a long time to even call myself an athlete, even though I was professional, even though I was like literally there in the gym every day, doing it, competing, getting paid to fight. Like, I still couldn't see myself as an athlete and doubted myself a lot, and still managed to prevail and succeed and do it. So I think no matter what you're going through, you can do it. And it's through that journey that you do learn to believe in yourself. You do learn to love yourself. You do realize how capable you are by going through it. So the first biggest setback that I had in my Muay Thai career was a back injury. It took me quite a while to and this was beautiful because it allowed me to understand corrective exercise. And that's another big thing I think we miss, not just as women, but as martial artists. There's these sport-specific kind of postural changes that happen because we're in these kind of positions that are hunched over all the time, or, we're kicking with one dominant leg, and your body can get really out of whack with that. And so because of those sort of things, and being a woman and some of the different postural issues that don't get considered as a woman in a sport, as we have to train like men because that's the standard that's just set, and we don't know any better. I dealt with a back injury that really challenged me for quite a while, that I learned how to rehab, I learned how to strengthen and came back from. I have no back issues whatsoever now. One of the biggest setbacks that actually stopped me from competing in Muay Thai, and when I was like, I will never fight again, was dealing with adrenal fatigue. And so it's like burnout or chronic fatigue. That's probably some words that you guys might have heard of. But I was completely burnt out. I knew it was coming. I'd studied it, but I'd tried so hard to adjust all these little lifestyle things to make sure that I didn't have to stop, because I really, really didn't want to stop my Muay Thai career and my fight career. But it just got to a point where, regardless of everything that I had done to try and mitigate that, it wasn't enough, and my body just broke down. There was one morning I went to the gym to train clients of mine, and I got a coffee. I took one sip and my heart was just beating out of my chest, and I was trying to catch my breath, and I thought, well, that's not normal. And then I think I showed one of my clients like a body weight squat as I was explaining how you do this properly. And I did like 2 squats, and I was like, and I was breathing like I'd just done sprints or something. And that was the moment I was like, oh, you need to really, it's time to face reality here. And I had to stop. I stopped training for a year, went into deep healing and recovery mode. Even doing a light yoga class would burn me out, make me tired. I think I spent what feels like a year just work, sleep, to rebuild my nervous system, and my immune system was shot. And there was a lot of things that were going on and a lot of changes that need to be made. And giving up training was one of them. That was huge. That sent me into a bit of an identity crisis. Who am I if I can't fight? I hit that again in my MMA career. I was just burning out. I was pushing way too hard. Wasn't implementing the things that I know to implement as a woman, because back then I felt pressure from my coaches and my team, and I felt like I had to hit all of these marks. And I disregarded the things that I knew that I needed. I hit that burnout again, not as bad, didn't take me as long to recover. But that was really good for me because I built the strength. I knew I had this strength of voice to go, this is what I need for myself. I need to put myself first, my body first, my longevity first. And if I can be strong in that myself, then my trainers will come on board. And that's happened, which is fantastic. My most recent setback is after another long layoff out of the cage, I was like, my health was good, everything was good. I was finally ready to step back in there. Like, I think I was the best I've ever been, the oldest I've ever been, and the best I've ever been, and the fittest I've ever been, the strongest, the best mindset, like everything on point. I think we're about 6 weeks out, and my leg snapped in half at a jiu-jitsu tournament. And so, yeah, it's been about 4 months now. I've been in like deep recovery mode. You know, before that would have broken me completely. Like, I would have just been an absolute mess. And yeah, it was tough. It's definitely a roller coaster of healing, which I'm still dealing with, but really down to my entire experience through the setbacks I've had, through the work that I do, through the things that I've learned. It really didn't bother me, I guess, as much as it would have in the past. It didn't break me. I know I'm going to come back stronger from this. I think at the end of the day, it's your body, it's your responsibility. This is your vehicle. This is not just what you get to make money with if you're competing with this thing, but like this is like a temple, you know, and we need to learn how to treat it like that. Throughout my holistic health and my holistic coaching backgrounds, my work that I do, I'm a very deep thinker. I see the challenges that martial artists, women have. One of them, you know, needing to be strong, not wanting to appear weak, not wanting to sometimes even take a day off because there's this idea that I've got to keep going and I've got to keep pushing and I've got to keep forcing, and like I don't want to fall backwards and I have to cram everything in. And so I guess I've seen all of those things. I've seen how, you know, we're in a sport where we like are essentially like abusing our bodies every day, right? So we build up this physical strength and resilience, and after a while that can translate into you abusing your body in other ways that are unhealthy. There's a level of pain that we shouldn't have to deal with in life, but I think this sport sometimes makes you so resilient to the pain and the struggle and the suffering that we take that mindset into other areas of our lives. And, you know, there's self-sabotage. A lot of people deal with that just about when they're ready to like hit that next level or explode into something great. Boom, sabotage, you know, comes along. And so through watching it with other people, coaching people in the industry, and my own experience, I've been able to see like not only the mental loops that kind of hold us back and the emotional loops that hold us back, but then also being able to educate people on the simple things that will support you, like drinking enough water, you know, getting enough sleep, educating ourselves around those things so that we can give ourselves the best fighting chance to succeed and achieve our dreams. The holistic health stuff, bringing that in and teaching fighters mentally that, you know, you can take care of yourself. It doesn't have to be so hard. Like, the potential for success is immense when you start getting all of these things on board, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like that's how I work. So there's that physical health, there's the training, there's the women learning how to get in touch with your cycle and not deny that and put up with pain, and actually learn how to work with your body, and then all the little mental and emotional things that come into it as well, that they just weave so beautifully together and allow us to be strong women without the pain and suffering.